It is unbelievable. I mean, and I know you said you should have seen it coming, but really, it is one of the biggest tar beatings we've witnessed in the Super Bowl this century. I understand you got to put the Bucks over the Raiders in San Diego.
It's how I grew up. Rich, it's how I grew up watching.
I know, and that's what Super Bowls used to be. But in this century, most of the Super Bowls have been really close.
Yep.
The Ravens beat down to the Giants to kick off. This century is one of them. You take a look at.
Bucks, Raiders.
Yeah, Seattle over Denver as well. I mean, right, and the Bucks over the Chiefs. The Chiefs have suffered two of the beatdowns, but it's similar things. As you go get Mahomes, and then you go and you make sure that your guy stays upright, and you win the Super Bowl. It's a great tried and true method. The question is the Ravens, Bills, rest of the AFC, Texans. Anybody else that has designs to finally beat Mahomes and make sure he doesn't get there? The Bengals getting back, past him and back. I mean, is this a cautionary sort of blueprint? What do you think, Albert?
Whether you mean that there's a path? For those
I
teams?
mean that these teams see what the Eagles have built, and some of them are close enough where you add this, you add that, and boom, you have the recipe to go hunt, and be the hunters.
So, I think we look at the Chiefs now. Are they at the point where it's now transition from Mahomes 1.0 to Mahomes 2.0, right? Which that's where the Patriots were after losing Super Bowl 42 to the Giants. If you remember, they had on that team Rodney Harrison, Mike Vrabel, Richard Seymour. There were a lot of players that were part of and foundation pieces of the first phase of that dynasty. And then the 3 years after that, Brady gets hurt in 08. They miss the playoffs. In 09, they win their division, but they get the tar beaten out of them by the Ravens in the wild card round. And then after that, they get back up off the mat with a younger team. They go 14-2, but they lose in the divisional round. And then, of course, in 11, they make the Super Bowl, and now you're back rolling again. Are they at that point now with, Chris Jones and Travis Kelce being older? They've done a really good job of feeding that roster with some younger pieces. So is Trent McDuffie, George Karlaftis, Creed Humphrey. Do you have players that are capable of being sort of those tentpole pieces, or do you have to go find them now? The AFC is going to be challenging for the foreseeable future. I mean, if you had to name the top 4 quarterbacks in football this year, I think most people would come up with the same list. Mahomes, Allen, Lamar, Burrow, all of those guys are in the AFC. We'll see what Justin Herbert can be, under Jim Harbaugh now going forward. CJ Stroud, obviously had a great rookie year, had a little bit of a sophomore slump, but I think he's, in that group of promising young guys too. And you have rookies like Bo Nix and Drake May. It's going to be challenging to keep winning in that conference. So I don't think the Chiefs are going to miss the playoffs or anything next year. Don't get me wrong. But are they maybe now facing the challenge of having to transition from Mahomes 1.0 to Mahomes 2.0, which, by the way, he's 30, this calendar year. That to me is kind of, where I think the challenge is going to come. The next challenge is going to come for Andy Reid, Brett Veach, and all the guys running that team.
Well, I mean, I would even, I'll follow up by saying you could say that this would be Mahomes 3.0, because Mahomes 2.0 is post Tyreek Hill winning 2 in a row anyway. That going from the explosive, we can come back from 24 down on Bill O'Brien without breaking a sweat type awesomeness to we're going to make a profit by not going broke, and we're going to play defense, and then we'll just keep making all the right plays. And that's the 2.0 version. Now this may be the 3.0 version of it, figuring out what the next 5-10 year plan is. I don't know how we should react to the Chiefs just yet, because they still did win 15 games, first of its kind for a back-to-back champion, made the Super Bowl, first of its kind for a back-to-back champion. I mean, they just ran into a team that I don't know if anybody was going to beat. the way that they played,
I mean,
Albert.
I've heard people talk about the Bills and Ravens. I don't think anybody was beating the Eagles.
Not the way they're playing. I mean, they were going to go hunt down anybody, and Saquon, running it 25 times and not getting any yards didn't matter. They were still staying balanced, and Hurts is one of the best winners we've seen in quite a while, and you got to give it up to him. It's just as you point out, totally organizational. Catch the Rich Eisen Show every single day on the Roku channel, 12 to 3 Eastern, for free.